There was a time in my life when I preferred the comics of Marvel over DC. I call those the stupid years. Seriously, I go back and read the shit I read back in the 90s and I wonder how the hell it even got published, much less bought. But, yeah, okay, whatever. When the X-Men movie came out, I was actually pretty excited about it. I was a fan of the characters at the time, and the movie just looked good, like they really gave a damn about making a superhero movie that didn't suck for once. Oddly enough now, I can tell you that I like the movie, and that I still like it, but I couldn't give less of a damn about the characters. The X-Men are basically Marvel's version of the Doom Patrol, superheroes who aren't godlike and well-loved with the masses, but hated and feared because they're mutants who were born with powers that manifest at puberty. Thing is, I personally don't know what it is about the X-Men that makes them so feared and hated. There are several mutants in the Avengers, and they're loved by the denizens of the Marvel Universe. Oh well. One thing about doing an X-Men movie is you have a huge cast that you could choose from for characters. Obviously, you want to keep the team rather small, especially for a first movie, but the question is, who do you pick? In the beginning of the movie, the only X-Men are Professor X, played by Patrick Stewart, Storm, played by Halle Berry, Cyclops, played by James Marsden, and Jean Grey, played by Famke Janssen. They're joined later by Wolverine, who's pretty much the star of the movie, played by Hugh Jackman, and Rogue, who is played by Anna Paquin. The villains are the Brotherhood of Mutants. Glad they dropped the word evil from there. I always thought that was rather insipid. They're led by Magneto, played by Ian McKellen, and include Rebecca Romijn Stamos as Mystique, Tyler Mane as Sabretooth, and Ray Parks as the Toad. That's right, the Toad. They took the lamest possible villain and put him in the movie. But they actually made him way better than the comic version, so bully for them. The plot has to do with Magneto's growing concern with hatred and oppression of mutants. An influential senator, Senator Kelly, is trying to pass a bill that would require all mutants to register with the government, basically giving up their civil liberties and exposing them to ridicule and possibly violence from mutant haters. Magneto captures Senator Kelly by replacing his top aide with Mystique, who can shapeshift into anybody she wants. He uses a machine to transform Kelly into a mutant. The Senator uses his newfound power to escape and runs to the X-Men for help. Meanwhile, a young mutant named Rogue runs away from home and winds up hooking up with Wolverine, an amnesiac with razor-sharp claws and a healing factor. And I just want to pause and say I meant she hooked up with him as in they started traveling together, not that they fucked. It just sounded weird coming out of my mouth, and I wanted to clarify that. Anyway, they're attacked by the Brotherhood and rescued by the X-Men. Professor X believes that Magneto is after Wolverine for some reason, but it turns out he's actually after Rogue, so he can transfer his power to her and use her to power his machine, turning it on the summit of world leaders, turning them all into mutants, so they will understand the plight and stop the oppression. The X-Men, of course, try to stop this as Senator Kelly dies from his unnatural mutation, and Magneto doesn't know that his machine will basically kill any human it affects. Now, to be honest, when I saw the movie, I really liked it. Today, I have to say that I still like it, but I like it a lot less than I used to. There were just a lot of logical fallacies that I can't get over. One has to do with Mystique. After getting stabbed by Wolverine, she loses consciousness and is clearly shown in her true form lying there. But when she's found later, she took the form of some random black guy. What is that, a reflex? Then she takes Senator Kelly's place and reverses the anti-mutant bill proposal at the end of the film. Well, why the hell didn't they just do that to begin with? Eliminate Kelly and replace him with Mystique, and then have the faux senator change his mind? Seems like Mystique is just maybe a lot smarter than Magneto. I don't know. Another thing is the scene where Magneto basically captures the X-Men and the Statue of Liberty. Cyclops asks Storm to zap him, but Magneto correctly points out that lightning in a giant structure made out of copper, it would be a bad idea, and even mocks them for being so stupid. Well, yeah, if lightning were the only power that Storm had, I mean, she's shown many more powers that could have helped them, but instead they leave it up to Wolverine to slice through his own arms to escape. Storm is also able to control the wind to the extent that she can seemingly fly by riding wind currents, but when Cyclops asks her to lift him, she balks at the idea, saying, "Oh, it doesn't work like that." When she tries it anyway on Wolverine, she's barely able to control him, even with Jean Grey helping her with her telekinetic powers. Now, I never understood why the X-Men attack Magneto in any way, instead of just telling him that his machine is faulty. Instead, they come in guns blazing, and when they finally do tell him, well, of course he doesn't believe them, the idiots tried attacking him first. Perhaps the biggest flaw is that somehow only Magneto can fuel this machine, but it'll kill him, so instead he gives his power to Rogue. So once she has his powers, she should be able to just rip herself out of the machine, right? I don't know, I guess she was too busy screaming. Then when Cyclops wants to just blast Magneto at the end, they decide to try and fling Wolverine up there anyway, which doesn't do much other than create a lot of special effects, and the entire thing is resolved by Cyclops doing what he originally intended to do and just blasting Magneto. There are other little things that bug me, but honestly, that's enough bitching, you know? The fact is, even despite this, it's still an entertaining movie, but it's definitely outdone by its sequel, X2 United, which pretty much outdid X-Men in every possible way. The third movie, X-Men The Last Stand, was also pretty good, but kind of a clusterfuck with way too many characters. More recently, there was a solo Wolverine movie, which I think was the most fun out of any of them. The original X-Men movie is deeply flawed, but it's still a good ride if you don't think about it too much, and you suspend your disbelief. You'll probably enjoy it. I'm feeling generous, so I'll give it a 7 out of a possible 10. It might be a point too high, but I'm in a good mood, so it gets a 7.